Bonjour, hello, and welcome to MaxMountainWorld. Bonjour, good morning. 6 o'clock in the morning. You know how it goes. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and you have a bitch of a cold. Sometimes it happens at night, just one sneeze, whatever, bang, the onslaught. You've got a heavy chest, you've got a rough throat, you've got a voice that's just a couple of octaves a bit too low, you've got a head that's throbbing, your ears, your eyes are red, all that stuff. Just the very start of a flu bug, a cold, or some kind of virus like that. Now, I have what in Scotland, in places in Scotland, we call a granny's trick, an old granny's trick. Old doesn't refer to the granny, it refers to the time period a long time ago. Now, not all grannies are very old, especially these days. You get grannies from the age of about 35, 36 upwards. But anyway, here is the old granny's trick. Now, we've got, the glasses just magically appeared. Here in a ski station, we're at an altitude of 1,800 metres. I'm going to refer to that again in a minute. We, in the winter, have lots of visitors who come from lower climes, you could say, the cities and stuff like that. And what happens is, quite often they bring up bugs and viruses and colds and flu bugs and this, that, the next thing. And normally it doesn't matter because it's so cold here in the winter that all these bacteria, I think that's how you say it, just get annihilated because it's so damn cold. I mean, in January time, for example, we get maybe, it'll start off a period of about 3-4 weeks where the temperature never goes above zero and it drops down to, well, I've experienced the -20s. So that happens, but sometimes what happens is, at some point in the winter, the temperature actually goes up for a little bit. We'll get a system comes in, it brings in warm air, and we'll have temperatures up to 10, 11, 12, 13 degrees, whatever. And when these people arrive from the cities and bring all their bugs and whatnot, that's when we're susceptible. When I say we the people who live, work in the ski stations. And you tend to find that one person gets a cold, everyone gets a cold. One person gets the flu, everyone gets the flu. It's the same bug that happens. We discuss it, we go out for a beer at night, and I'm not feeling so great, and all the rest of that stuff. Oh, what's wrong with you? And it's always the same symptoms. So it's a bug that actually goes round, it's been brought up by the visitors. So anyway, that's just by the by. Here's a little granny's trick, as I said before. This is a fantastic one, and it works. So I moved myself over to the kitchen, and here are the key ingredients. Kettle, knife, chopping board, couple of squares of kitchen roll, and a small cup. And the main ingredient, onion. Now, I'm not someone that's going to show you how to cut an onion, but I'm going to show you how I cut an onion for this exercise. Basically, this isn't the sharpest, it looks lethal, but it's not the best. But basically, cut that with a knife that's not too sharp. Before you get right through it, peel it off there. Okay, so we've got that ready to go. Turn it round so that bit is on the side. Do the same again. I'll just start the cut, run it through, almost through, turn it, and you can see we've actually got this bit exposed. Now we'll peel all the outer skin off and all the rest of that stuff. It usually comes away quite easy like that. Having said that, that's probably an unwritten Murphy's Law that no, it won't this time. Yeah, there we go, there we go. Now, very important, never ever eat that part. That part, you can see that's the colour of the onion and that's the colour of the outer part of it. That bit has already done what I'm going to explain. Right, so we'll just shift all that stuff to one side. It's all rubbish. There we go, one onion. Now, the structure of an onion. You have one of two things. It has a kernel, a centre part, a nut, whatever you want to call it. And sometimes you find there's two types of onions. Sometimes you find they've got two. If they've got two, cut it right between the two. If they've only got one, what to do is to cut it down the side of that, not exactly on centre. And you'll find inside here is what we call the kernel. You just pull that apart like that, and hey presto, that jumps out. Now, what to do then? It's a two-part story, this. One is a prevention and one is a cure. The way I do things, the way I'm going to do this is it's going to be easier for me to explain the cure and then the prevention. First things first, boil up a kettle. This is the quietest kettle in history, but yeah, it's boiling. And oh dear, come on. There's a reason why this is taking long. I'll explain in a second. There we go. Now, I'll explain why that took so long. One thing to do here, before I explain that, we have the kernel of this onion, and what to do is to just cut it maybe halfway through and open it a little bit. That's the most powerful part of an onion, and drop it into a small cup. When you've done that, stick water in, and you'll find that little guy is just floating and no more. It's just floating like a piece of ice and a bit of cold water. And you can see the steam coming off that. Just give it a couple of minutes. You can test it. When you can start smelling onion, it's usually after about a minute or so. Watch, don't burn yourself here. Don't fire yourself straight into it. But just keeping the hair back. Just breathe in the odour and hold it in. And just do that 5 or 6 times. And hold it in, and hold it in. And what that's doing is the onion vapour, the onionized vapour, is actually helping to trap the bacteria that you've got in your body, in your lungs, in your throat, in your whatever. So that's the cure. And that works, that's really good. Especially when you're really, really stuffed up. So basically, that's what you do when all else has failed. Now, with this onion, you'll see the first, drop in stuff, you'll see that the first skin on the outside is still a little bit coloured, a little bit green. So what to do is grab that and open the onion so that you're on to the next level, which you'll see normally is a bit whiter, a bit purer, and you can chuck all that stuff aside with the rest of the rubbish. There we go. I'd never make it as a TV kitchen host, I know that. But anyway, we have the two halves of that, and what to do, again, just cut them a little bit of a slice, just across the grain of what you have in the half cuts there. And all you need to do is, if this has happened in the morning, sit with it in front of you in your breakfast and you'll smell it. It's what makes your eyes water when you cut onions. You'll smell it. That cut there has served the purpose of actually starting the vapours coming off it that makes your eyes water and stuff. If you're got the thing that's happening at night, in the evening or whatever, when you go to bed, don't have it sitting right next to you, just have it in the same room, and you'll find that when you wake up in the morning, all is gone, all is well. Now, just in final, I bet you thought I'd forgotten about the kettle thing. Right, now, the reason why that kettle takes so long is because up here at altitude, water takes on different properties. Now, we're all taught at school water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Not so. Here at altitude, at 1,800 metres, water actually boils at 92 degrees Celsius due to the lack of air pressure, the lower air pressure. And for that reason, that's why, like, we make cups of tea and coffee here, and you've got to drink it pretty quick because it just goes cold because it's already not really that hot. That's also the reason, just on the side, I diversify, but I'll come back to it. That's the reason why explorers never ever drink cups of tea on the top of Everest, because they can't get the water hot enough to actually make a cup of tea. That's fact. Now, the same thing, you have to be kind of quick with that. You'll notice, I can handle that now after a couple of minutes. That's literally after a couple of minutes. Normally at sea level, you wouldn't do that. You'd be burning your fingers. So you've got to be kind of quick with that cure manoeuvre. So there we go. That explains a cure. That explains a preventative measure, or a preventative measure once the onslaught of a bug, a cold, a flu bug or whatever has actually started and you're detecting the symptoms and how to actually get it out of the way. This does work. And there we have it. There we have an old Scottish granny's trick. Everything's magically disappeared. But that's also why I keep my onions in the fridge. It keeps them going longer, but it also keeps your fridge better. And that's the reason why. Do you ever wonder, if you keep your onions in a fridge, you've got 3 or 4 onions in the fridge, sometimes one, just one, kind of goes rotten. It goes yellow, it goes soft, it goes brown, whatever. That's because something else in the fridge has gone off, and that one onion has reacted to it, and it has taken all the bacteria away from everything else. Quite often you'll find that whatever it is, it's only just gone off a little bit. You can still eat it, but you cannot eat that onion. That onion has bugs.